So mapping out, identifying the characteristics of the voice is a very useful thing to do early on when you're trying to make sense of voices. It's a good thing to do before you do try any dialoguing work, to find out who the person needs to build a relationship with or change a relationship with.
For some people, all of this can seem quite vague at first, because if the voices are very distressing or difficult or annoying, you might spend a lot of energy ignoring the voices and not listening to them. So at first it might feel a bit strange to think about if they have a name or what is important to the voice. So sometimes it might take a little bit of getting used to.
So we're going to demonstrate with one of your voices.
Yeah.
Who do you want to demonstrate it with?
With the mother voice, I think.
If you want to do a more detailed mapping out, you can use the Maastricht interview, which you can find on the internet. But this is a more brief version where we look at some of the main characteristics of the voice, how it might relate to the person's life.
And it's nice to do it on a big sheet of paper that we can both see, so that anything you write up I can see and I can correct. And it's sort of a mutual agreement about what is being written. It also means that the voices can say, no, I don't think that's right.
So name?
Mother voice.
Has she always been called that?
Yeah.
And does she have an image that goes with her?
A bit, yeah. She's got like a shirt on, sort of quite bland, straight hair, but sort of a bit anonymous. Grey colours, grey.
Grey clothes?
Yeah.
Does she have an age?
Late 40s.
She's female?
Yeah.
And what kind of things does Mother Voice say?
Well, she can be quite to the point at times, but she can also be very elaborate and talk at length about things. But she will generally talk about things I've not done well, so she'll be criticising me. And she will say things like I'm lazy, or I'm weak, or I'm not putting in enough effort, or I'm not organised enough.
When did she first come along?
I don't know exactly when. I remember where I lived at the time, so I was probably around 9 years old. But I don't remember an exact moment that she appeared or anything like that. Just remember, I have memories of listening to her when I was around 9.
Yeah, what was happening when you were 9 years old in your life?
Quite a lot of things. We'd moved to the bigger city a year earlier, and when I was 9 we'd moved to a different place in the same area, and it was quite sort of a rough part of the city. We lived next door to an alcoholic. We shared a bathroom with him, which was tricky. My sister, one of my sisters were pregnant with it was a problematic relationship with the father. My other sister so this was around the time when she started drinking. I was struggling in the school I was going to because I didn't really feel like I fitted in. I couldn't really find my place. I started doing ballet, but was having a lot of physical sort of problems with asthma and allergy, and so I really loved doing ballet, but I would come home sort of covered in blisters from heat, sort of a heat rash.
So there was a lot of change in your life.
Yeah.
A lot of chaos,
Yeah,
family,
uncertainty.
yeah, and danger as well, or a bit
Yeah.
unpredictability with the
Yeah.
alcoholic neighbour,
Yeah.
unknown school.
Yeah.
It's very different. Okay, what do you think is important to the mother voice?
Perfection seems to be a big issue, that things need to be perfect.
So do you think that could relate to safety? If you do things perfectly, you're not going to get rejected, or so?
Possibly.
When does the voice come along?
It can come along at any time.
Right.
Yeah. There's no sort of specific.
It's not more likely to come along in social situations or when you're on your own?
No. It's sort of the same. It can be more active and critical when I have been social. So it might be active while I'm social, but it can sort of turn it up after events or after socializing.
So there's a lot about not just perfection, but social performance. So,
Possibly.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah? I don't know. How does the voice relate to other voices?
Reluctantly. She's mainly relating to me.
Right.
She's aware of the other voices, but she doesn't necessarily relate to them. There's one voice she used to get along with really well, which was a voice that would kind of record everything that was happening. So she'd kind of use that voice as a look at what you did. This other voice could tell me and her these long, elaborate stories about descriptions of things I'd done, and she could use that to show me just how wrong I got everything.
Does the voice remind you of anyone in what it says?
Not in what it says, no.
No.
No. But it sounds like my mum, but it doesn't say things that my mum would say. Yeah.
Okay, so your mum wasn't critical towards you?
No. She might be critical towards other things around us, other people, or the world, in a more philosophical, generalized way, but she would never be critical towards me.
And I guess we've already talked a bit about the significant life events. There's
Yeah.
a lot of change, a lot of unpredictability.
Yeah. So that's an example of how you can do it.
Yeah.
And you probably, with someone like me who hears more than one voice, you might do the same for every voice. So you get a full picture, the different voices, and when they come along and what they're like.
And not everyone wants to name their voice, but it can be helpful because then you can refer to how is the mother voice. It allows us to quickly talk about different voices. But some people prefer to give their voices numbers to make instead.
Yeah.
Okay.